Mass Effect Andromeda, N7 Day. And what a disappointment this day was. A less than 2-minute trailer with about 3 seconds of gameplay and almost no information really given. Luckily, Game Informer has swooped in with its December issue and has a lot of information to go over, so I'm going to break it down into bullet points, off script, off the cuff, and just give you the most important things that should be addressed. So first is going to be backstory. Now, we already know 600 years in the future is when we arrive in the Andromeda galaxy, but we leave the Milky Way galaxy at about 2185. Now, this is during Mass Effect 2, basically, so they're unaware of the Reaper threat, because they've dismissed those claims.
We have dismissed that claim.
I think that's kind of a misstep. I think they should have had this as a contingency plan in case something like this happened again, and during Mass Effect 3, when the Reapers are coming, that's when they need to, this is like their last ditch Hail Mary effort to make sure that this is the survival of their species, because they send out 4 arcs, each carrying a different race. And this is a way that you can show even just the Normandy, like shooting a couple of Reapers as the 4 arcs are leaving, as they're jumping away. And you don't even have to show any of the crew, just the Normandy, so you know they're still there. You know, the SR2, because this is during Mass Effect 2. Let's see, what else? The Turians are confirmed. So, since there's 4 arcs and they're each carrying a different race, I'm assuming these are the Council races. You got the humans, you got the Solarians, you got the Turians, and you got the Asari. So where does that leave the Krogan and the Quarians? Well, the Krogan are confirmed in the game. All the trailers we've seen have some Krogans in it. And in Mass Effect 2, they're dealing with the Genophage, so they wouldn't send a ton of them out. I'm assuming these are just mercenaries, hired muscle. The Krogan's going to be there. See, I think that if any of the 4 races that should go to this galaxy, it should be the Quarians. They're the nomad species. This species has lived in space and on ships for over 100 years. This is the one race you would send a lot of people to go for. And I mean, I know they want to take back their planet, but this is something that this species specializes in. So I'm really hoping we see some Quarians in the game. Each arc is led by a Pathfinder. Yours, the Hyperion Humanities arc, is led by your father, Alec Ryder, voiced by Mr. Krabs, Clancy Brown. So, events happen at the beginning of the game where this is transferred over to you. This role passes down to you. You can also customize your father and your sibling. Not as extensively as yourself, but you still can. So this kind of reminds me of Dragon Age 2, where you can sort of alter the appearance of your mother and your sibling. Alright, now we're moving into combat. Global cooldowns are now replaced by timers. Powers are hotkeyed for quick use. You no longer have to pause to bring up the wheel on the, so you can aim. So you can still pause the combat, but it's not how BioWare wants it to work. There's a dynamic cover system. I assume it's going to be kind of like The Last of Us, where when you crouch and you move into a position, you'll kind of like lean against the wall and you can back up. So it's sort of like that. It's still a cover-based shooter. The jetpack we've seen, it allows for movement variety. Less emphasis on linear, clearly telegraphed environments that tell you an encounter's coming. There's still linear environments in the game, thank God. So that's good at least. Let's see. You can still queue up attacks and combos, order your squad around. The class system is gone. This is important. You have full access to all the abilities from all classes. You can mix and match the skills from, tech, soldier, biotic. They don't want to limit you and lock you into one of these at the start of the game, but you can specialize enough points into a category and unlock like a bonus. Like in Mass Effect 1, there was I think the Shock Trooper and things like that you can advance to. So you can do, if you advance so much into combat and biotics, you'll be a Vanguard. Or if you invest in pure biotics, you'll be an Adept. So it's nice that they don't lock you into any of these things, and you can find what suits you the best while playing and then work towards that goal. If you invest in multiple categories, you'll get the Explorer profile, is what it says. So basically it's kind of like the Elder Scrolls and stuff like that, where when you have so many things put in other things, you have your own personal class. You can customize your helmet, chest, shoulders, arms, and legs more than the trilogy, so that's good. Because Mass Effect 3 had a pretty good amount, but I was looking for a little more. Many familiar weapons return. There's also going to be melee options like swords and hammers. So I'm thinking like a gravity hammer from like Halo or something. That'd be cool. All right, now we're gonna go into the enemy, and the environments. There's some crafting stuff. The Ket are the main enemy so far. I'll put a picture up right here. We only saw the back of them in the trailer, but I'm pretty sure this is the front of what they're gonna look like. Rather than having them as like mortal enemies, they want you to emphasize with this race, so it doesn't feel like just a one-shot threat, kind of like the Reapers, where there was no, there was no empathizing with the Reapers. They wanted everyone dead. Instead of having linear slice of the planet you land on, you can explore planets from the surface almost to the center. It's saying, so I'm assuming there's caves that go deep down and other things like that. We already know the Nomad is back. It's not going to be as cumbersome as the Mako. It doesn't have any weapons. This, I think, is a misstep. I really liked the cannons on the SR1's Mako. Riding around shooting Thresher Maws. So this is the Nomad is basically a mount that gets you from point A to point B. That's all it is. It gets you there quicker, which I think is kind of a letdown. But whatever. There's point of interest on the map. Encounters, puzzles. Narrative beats. They didn't want repeats with like mineral nodes, multiple identical outposts, No Man's Sky, scattered across planets. So one of the priorities is to scout for drop zones for your crew that drop these things called forward stations that establishes a foothold for you. These allow for changing up your loadout, fast travel, and if you leave the planet and come back, you can travel back. Most planets have at least one major enemy base. Planets have areas, encounters that could have super bosses. So if it's kind of like the Old Republic, where it has like a planet boss, and if you're too weak, you got to come back and you have to have other people. So you can come back to these things. Scanning has been confirmed already. Scanning and discovering these things, you get blueprints and you can craft weapons and armor. You can also create, not just ammo types, but you can do things that haven't been seen in the Milky Way before, thanks to the new alien tech. So there's some plot threads also and missions that will take you across multiple planets. So that's, crafting an environment as an enemy. Squad mates, we've only got 2 so far confirmed. One is named Liam. He arrived at the Pathfinder. I don't know if they mean your father, Alec, Ryder, or you. He's a former police officer and described as having a light attitude, so he'll bring a lot of levity to a lot of the things you're doing. And the Asari, we're giving her nicknames so far, and it's PB. PB. So you gotta name one of your character J, so it's PB&J, just to make it funny. So the Asari squad mate, she went off on her own after arriving on the Netflix, and she's described as having a bubbly personality. So it's going to be very different from the Asari that we've seen so far. I'm very curious to see how well she's received, but we'll see when we get there. But that's about it for squad mates so far. The Tempest, your ship. They want to harken back to the original Normandy, because that was a fan favorite. There's no loading screens as you move through the ship. I wonder if that means there's going to be those elevator rides that take you down to the cargo hold in Mass Effect 1. The galaxy map returns, but instead of like spinning around a little mini ship, on the map, it's more immersive. You select the planet. The game gives you like a sense of traveling, toward the planet, and then when you back out, you're immediately at the destination. So it'll look kind of like, I think, the Old Republic. When you pick a destination, you go to hyperspeed, and then and then you're there, and you see the planet just pop up. It's gonna be kind of like that. You don't pilot the ship manually. Another misstep. I really think there needs to be damn space battles in this damn series so far. Come on, at least give us one. Even Halo Reach gave us one, and it was great. They needed more of that. I really hope that it's a surprise, and there's at least one mission with space combat. But it does feel seamless as you go from planet to planet, and you see them from the bridge getting closer. It's going to be seamless. You pick a planet, you walk to the cargo hold, hop in the Nomad, and then you land on the planet. There is a landing sequence, kind of like in Mass Effect 1, where Joker flies over, the thing opens up, and you kind of shoot out, hover, and then you land. But there's no loading screens and instantly popping up on the surface. Alright, relationships and characters. There are more characters in the game than any other BioWare game, as fans note in this article that they have a big emphasis on romance in BioWare games, and that is true. Me as well. It's true. There's a lot of it makes it more believable and relatable to have people that you care about and you want to interact with, and this is good. The squad mate with the least amount of lines in Andromeda has more lines than the squad mate with the most in Mass Effect 3. So all the companions that you're gonna have here, all the squad mates are gonna have they're gonna be pretty meaty in terms of the dialogue department. It doesn't mean they'll be interesting, but they'll be meaty. Due to complications in the awakening process, your sibling won't join you in combat, but you still can interact with them and build a relationship. Many of these dealings are optional, and discovering more about the Ryder family it's a plot thread. So it's optional, but it probably isn't, considering it's a plot thread, so you might have to do at least something. Loyalty missions are back from Mass Effect 2 days, so this is good, but they aren't critical to the ending of the game, so you can complete the main game and then even come back and do kind of like Inquisition. They should literally take nothing from Inquisition. Inquisition was such a bad game. They don't need to take or borrow anything from that game. Please don't. Emphasis on the relationships, don't just culminate in a sex scene, blah blah. They want a lot of they want to capture a lot more shooting bottles with Garrus moments, which they say are plenty, but I really hope there isn't that many. That was special because it was the one, and they earned it because we were with Garrus for 2.5 games at that point. This was near like halfway point of 3, so they need to earn that. You can't just have that at the beginning. You need to earn it first. Multiplayer. It's more evolved from Mass Effect 3. I put about 70 hours into the multiplayer in Mass Effect 3. It will have advantages to single player, but it does not affect the ending of the game. There's a prestige mechanic, Call of Duty style. There's microtransactions, but no real-world money is required. It's a card-based economy where you earn XP and credits. You play in multiplayer. You play as, in story-related terms, you play as the Apex Force. It's a militia strike team from the Nexus. All right, now choices. We already know the Paragon Renegade system is gone. They want more of a nuance and a subtlety that gives the player more opportunities to express themselves. I think Mass Effect 3 did this well, where you had a respect, or not a respect meter, you had a reputation bar, where it doesn't matter, as long as you pick one or the other of Paragon or Renegade, your reputation goes up, or your that bar goes up. So then if you have enough points going in any direction, you can pick a harder choice of Paragon or Renegade. So I really like that, but I want to see where they're going with this. The option tones is heart, head, professional, and casual. So it's gonna be kind of like Dragon Age 2, sarcastic, this you're a saint of good, and then you're a real dick, and then all this other stuff. Narrative actions, they're previously called, the interrupts, but instead of giving a red is bad and blue is good, it can say shoot. It leaves you more, ambiguity to your choice. There's no obvious right or wrong. There are pros and cons to each, but there are still interrupts. It's just they're not considered bad or good. The future of the franchise, Andromeda leaves the door open for more games, obviously. New Game Plus mode allows you to change your gender if you wanted. They're also coy about multiple endings. It's a surprise, and it's different than the trilogy, is what they say. So, we'll see where that leads, but I'm really hoping this is the start of at least a trilogy. What makes Mass Effect special is that you spend time with these characters over a period of games. I said this in my previous video, a one and done type of mentality is whatever for Dragon Age, but it doesn't work. I don't think it would work in a Mass Effect setting. It really you need a bond with these people. And I know they want to separate themselves from the trilogy, but this is the one thing that needs to stay. They need to have, this needs to be the same protagonist for like the next 2 or 3 games, same, you know, companions and squad mates, and, you know, stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes. Thankfully, Game Informer had a lot of information because BioWare gave nothing for N7 Day. So we'll see where this goes. They said there's more gameplay coming. I think at TTS, I think they said gameplay trailers coming. So we'll see where that goes. But until next time, guys, talk to you later.